Remember when TV theme songs actually meant something? Before you could skip the intro, before moody strings and minimalist title cards took over, we had songs that slapped us in the mouth. They explained the plot, set the vibe, and got stuck in our heads for decades. Today, we're counting down 15 of the best TV theme songs of the 1970s. Some of these made the Billboard charts, some made us emotional before the first punchline, and yeah, we know 15 isn't enough, so drop your favorites in the comments and we might include them in a future video. Also, be sure to like and subscribe because it really does help the channel. Now, let's get into the countdown with number 15, Welcome Back Kotter, ABC.
Welcome back.
You know it the second it starts. Warm vocals, a lazy beat, and just enough melancholy to make it feel like more than a sitcom. Welcome Back Kotter didn't just have a theme song, it had a vibe. The show aired on ABC from 1975 to 1979 and starred comedian Gabe Kaplan as Gabe Kotter, a former troublemaker who returns to his Brooklyn high school to teach a class of wisecracking misfits known as the Sweathawks. It also launched the career of a young John Travolta.
Dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back.
Written and performed by John Sebastian of The Lovin' Spoonful, the song was never meant to be the show's title. The working name was simply Kotter, until producers liked the line "Welcome Back" so much they renamed the entire series, and it worked. Big time.
Well, the names have all changed since you hung around.
Welcome Back hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1976, and topped the adult contemporary charts too. Not bad for a laid-back folk tune written for a sitcom about a teacher and his old neighborhood. The lyrics captured Kotter's return to where it all began, now mentoring kids who reminded him of his younger self. The show had jokes, jabs, and a whole lot of New York attitude, but the theme song? That was pure heart. Welcome back, it said, like it really meant it.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
Number 14, Three's Company, ABC.
Come and knock on our door. Come and knock on our door.
Three's Company starred John Ritter as Jack Tripper, a culinary student who moves in with 2 single women, Janet and Chrissy, but has to pretend he's gay so their landlord would allow the co-ed living arrangement. It aired on ABC from 1977 to 1984 and quickly became a ratings juggernaut built on innuendo, misunderstandings, and physical humor straight out of the Chaplin era.
Come and dance on our floor. Come and dance on our floor. Take a step that is new.
Light, flirty, and just a little bit naughty. This theme told you exactly what you were in for, and if that line didn't make you smile, you probably weren't allowed to watch this show as a kid. The theme song, Come and Knock on Our Door, was written by Joe Raposo, best known for Sesame Street, the show's main theme, and classics like Being Green and C is for Cookie.
C is for cookie, that's good enough for me.
It was performed by Ray Charles and Julia Rinker. No, not this Ray Charles, this one. Affectionately known as the other Ray Charles, he led the Ray Charles Singers and worked with Perry Como for decades.
You'll see that life is a ball again, laughter is calling for you.
According to some reports, early pilots used a placeholder version of the melody with doo-doo-doo vocals before lyrics were ever finalized. But by the time it aired, the theme was pure sitcom magic.
Down at our rendezvous. Down at our rendezvous. Three's Company too.
Number 13, Hawaii Five-0, CBS. Okay, yes, technically Hawaii Five-0 premiered in 1968, but in the 70s, Hawaii Five-0 was a full-on phenomenon. The show followed Steve McGarrett, played by Jack Lord, leading an elite state police unit that tackled organized crime, espionage, and everything in between. It aired on CBS through 1980, then in reruns to this day. This show helped define the crime drama format. And the theme song was legendary. Composed by Morton Stevens, it mashed up surf rock, brass, and military precision into one of the most electrifying intros in TV history. You didn't watch it, you braced for it. It was such a hit, instrumental legends The Ventures released an entire album named after the show. Their version of the theme reached number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100, and the Hawaii Five-0 album itself climbed to number 11 on the Billboard Top LP chart, staying there for 24 weeks. It even went gold in 1971. And yes, the 2010 reboot kept the same theme because really, how else could you top it? Number 12, Sanford Son, NBC. No lyrics? No problem. Sanford Son starred Red Foxx as Fred Sanford, a grumpy junk dealer in Watts, and Demond Wilson as his exasperated son Lamont. It ran on NBC from 1972 to 1977 and delivered nonstop insults, fake heart attacks, and unforgettable chemistry. The theme, officially titled The Street Beater, was composed by Quincy Jones and performed with a blend of funk, electric blues, and layered harmonica by session legend Tommy Morgan. Jones allegedly wrote and recorded it in under 30 minutes, pulling from his friendship with Red Foxx to nail the vibe. It didn't chart when it came out in 1973, but it didn't need to. That wah-wah guitar and strutting bass didn't just open the show, it announced it, and decades later it still hits home. Number 11, Good Times, CBS. You know how some theme songs are catchy and others are powerful? Good Times said, why not both? Airing on CBS from 1974 to 1979, Good Times starred Esther, Rolle, and John Amos as Florida and James Evans, raising 3 kids in a Chicago housing project. It was the first sitcom to focus on a black 2-parent family, and it didn't shy away from real issues, poverty, racism, injustice, but it always kept heart and humor at the center. The theme song had a gospel groove with lyrics that punched you in the gut and lifted you back up, usually in the same breath.
Temporary layoffs. Good times.
Temporary layoffs? Good times. That's bleak, but also oddly hopeful, like the show itself. Written by Dave Grusin with lyrics by Alan and Marilyn Bergman, the Good Times theme was about surviving the system and staying grounded in family. It wasn't just a bop, it had a message. And who sang it? Well, that powerhouse opening vocal is Jim Gilstrap, joined by Motown's Blinky Williams, and yes, they absolutely went off. But here's the part that's tripped people up for decades. What are the actual lyrics? Even Chappelle's show made a whole bit out of this. It's right up there with Hold Me Closer Tony Danza in the Misheard Lyrics Hall of Fame. Listen to this part and tell us what you think in the comment section below. According to the DVD box set, streaming captions, and general hearsay, it's hanging in a chow line. At least that's what I always sang. But the Bergmans and series star Bernadette Stanis confirmed it. The real lyric is hanging in and jivin'. So now you know. The theme song's message was always joy through struggle, and that's exactly what Good Times delivered. Every single week. Number 10, The Rockford Files, NBC.
This is Jim Rockford. At the tone, leave your name and message. I'll get back to you.
This theme song is so cool, it probably wore tinted aviators and solved crimes before breakfast. The Rockford Files aired on NBC from 1974 to 1980 and followed Jim Rockford, an ex-con wrongly convicted and later pardoned, who worked as a private investigator in Malibu. He lived in a trailer parked on the beach at Paradise Cove and took on everything from missing persons to insurance fraud. His fee? $200 a day plus expenses. Not that he ever got paid on time. The Rockford Files gave us a beachside private eye and a Pontiac Firebird and a theme song that blended synthesizers, a harmonica, and crime-solving energy. Oh, and that drum break? It was like flipping the switch from cruise to pursuit. Same pace, but the momentum kicked up. Composed by TV theme legends Mike Post and Pete Carpenter, it wasn't just background music. It was a hit. The single cracked the Billboard Top 10 in 1975, hitting number 8 in Canada, and even won a Grammy for Best Instrumental Arrangement. This theme had texture. You had a harmonica, twangy guitar, and a synth that somehow made detective work sound futuristic and laid back at the exact same time. This wasn't your typical police procedural intro. It was mellow, but charged, like a soundtrack for solving crimes with a hangover. Not bad for a guy who kept his office in a trailer. Number 9, Baretta, ABC. Long before prestige cop dramas hit primetime, Baretta brought us Tony Baretta, a wisecracking, streetwise undercover detective who didn't follow the rules, but always got results. Played by Robert Blake, the show ran on ABC from 1975 to 1978 and featured a pet cockatoo named Fred.
Don't do the crime if you can't do the time.
The theme song Keep Your Eye on the Sparrow was written by Dave Grusin and Morgan Ames and delivered a full soulful grit by Sammy Davis Jr. Unlike most TV intros of the time, it didn't go for cheerful or catchy. It went for cool. With cryptic lyrics and a slick, jazzy groove, it felt more like a warning than a welcome. What made it iconic wasn't just the voice, it was the vibe. The song warned you to watch your back, mind your business, and never cross the line. It set the tone for a show that lived in alleys, whispered threats, and side-eyes from a cockatoo. And here's the twist. Sammy's version might be the most remembered, but it didn't chart. The disco version by Rhythm Heritage did, hitting number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1976. Mary Clayton even charted with her own version a year earlier. So yeah, there were multiple sparrows, but this one flew the highest.
If you can't pay the price. No.
And honestly, it still hits. Number 8, Laverne and Shirley, ABC.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Hasenpfeffer Incorporated.
You know exactly what show this is before the first note even hits. Premiering in 1976 as a spin-off of Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley followed two blue-collar best friends navigating work, friendship, and dating in 1950s Milwaukee. It starred Penny Marshall as tomboyish Laverne and Cindy Williams as sweet, anxious Shirley, and it ran for 8 seasons of physical comedy, slapstick charm, and plenty of milk and Pepsi.
Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true. Doing it our way.
The theme song, Making Our Dreams Come True, was performed by then unknown singer Cindy Greco and written by Charles Foxx and Norman Gimbel, the same duo behind the Love Boat theme. Originally titled We're Gonna Make It in the first season end credits, the song quickly took on a life of its own.
Nothing's gonna turn us back now. Straight ahead and on the track now. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
It hit number 25 on the Billboard Hot 100, number 13 on the Adult Contemporary chart, and cracked the top 20 in Canada. Not bad for a debut single from a sitcom soundtrack. In fact, it's still the only song Cindy Greco ever charted with.
There's nothing we won't try. Never heard the word impossible.
It was like the Rocky theme for Milwaukee bottle cappers. Pure 1970s optimism set to bubblegum pop with a steel-toed edge. The lyrics captured the spirit of two women chasing independence in a world that still expected them to marry their high school sweethearts and settle into suburbia. And let's be real, slapping that glove on the bottle? Sitcom choreography magic.
Make that dream come true. And we'll do it our way, yes.
It was the kind of theme song that made you believe your crappy job could still lead to something amazing. Now, since you've made it this far, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. You obviously like the kind of content we're producing, and it helps more folks find these throwbacks. Now back to the countdown with number 7, The Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Who can turn the world on
The Mary Tyler Moore Show followed Mary Richards, a newly single woman starting fresh at a Minneapolis TV newsroom. It starred Mary Tyler Moore as the upbeat independent lead and ran on CBS from 1970 to 1977, breaking new ground for women on television and workplace sitcoms alike.
You can take a nothing day and suddenly make it all seem worth.
The theme song, Love Is All Around, was written and performed by Sonny Curtis, though it's often mistakenly credited to Paul Williams. The version used in Season 1 was more cautious, asking, "How will you make it on your own?" By Season 2, it became the version we all remember, "Who can turn the world on with her smile?" It was rewritten to reflect Mary's growth and confidence.
You're gonna make it after all.
Over the years, the song's been covered by everyone from Joan Jett to Husker Du, and yes, it even charted on the Billboard country charts when Curtis re-recorded it in 1980. But for most of us, it'll always be tied to that hat toss on a Minneapolis street corner. It wasn't just a theme song, it was a hug, a cheer, and a reminder that yeah, you were gonna make it after all. Number 6, All in the Family, CBS.
Boy, the way Glenn Miller played.
Songs that made the hit parade.
All in the Family followed working-class big mouth Archie Bunker and his long-suffering wife Edith in Queens, New York. Played by Carroll O'Connor and Gene Stapleton, the show ran on CBS from 1971 to 1979 and redefined what a sitcom could be, unafraid to tackle race, politics, gender roles, and generational friction head-on.
Guys like us, we had it made. Those were the days.
The theme song, Those Were the Days, was written by Broadway duo Charles Strouse and Lee Adams, and unlike most shows, the stars sang it on camera every week, sitting at a piano with Edith playing and both of them belting it out live. It wasn't polished, and that was the point.
And to do when you were there.
Dance for girls and men, women.
Stapleton deliberately hit a sour note on Knew Who You Were Then, and leaned harder into it as the seasons went on. O'Connor's whiny delivery of Welfare State only made it funnier. They re-recorded the theme 6 times across the series, tweaking everything from lyrics to tempo to camera angles, and yes, the audience laughed every time. A longer version of the song even cracked the Billboard Hot 100 in 1972, and added lyrics made the nostalgia feel a little more sad and a little more pointed.
G.R.O. sound red great. Those were the days.
It wasn't just a theme, it was a character study in under 30 seconds, and like Archie himself, it was loud, divisive, and impossible to ignore. Number 5, Happy Days, ABC.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
Happy Days followed Richie, the Fonz, and their crew as they juggled teen angst, family dinners, greaser brawls, and just about everything else that made the 50s feel picture perfect. It ran for a full decade on ABC from 1974 to 1984.
These days are all
Here's the twist. This wasn't even the original theme. Season 1 opened with Rock Around the Clock, but by Season 3, Happy Days, written by Charles Foxx and Norman Gimbel and performed by Pratt and McLean, became the official theme and a legit Billboard hit, peaking at number 5 in 1976.
Goodbye, gray sky, hello, blue. There's nothing can hold me when I hold you.
It was musical comfort food, pure 1950s fantasy wrapped in 1970s optimism. Simple lyrics, bouncy rhythm, and a vibe so wholesome you could bottle it and sell it at a soda fountain. The theme was re-recorded again in Season 11 with Bea Arthur on vocals.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
And get this, the song popped up in a Target ad decades later. At this point, Happy Days was less of a theme and more of a time machine.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
But let's be real, nothing beats the one from back in the day.
These happy days are yours and mine. Happy days.
Number 4, MASH, CBS. This might be the saddest theme song ever attached to a comedy. There's no funky bass line, no catchy chorus, just a slow, haunting melody that says "Welcome to War," and yes, there will be jokes. Based on the 1970 film of the same name and airing on CBS from 1972 to 1983, MASH followed the doctors and staff of the 4077th Mobile Army Surgical Hospital during the Korean War, balancing absurd humor with moments of heartbreak. Believe it or not, this unforgettable tune was originally written for the Last Supper scene in the film where a character named Painless plans a dramatic fake farewell. Director Robert Altman told composer Johnny Mandel he wanted the silliest song ever written for the scene. Altman tried to write the lyrics himself, couldn't crack it, and handed the job to his 15-year-old son Mike, who finished it in 5 minutes. Mike ended up earning over $1 million in royalties. Altman? Just $70,000 for directing the whole movie. Yep, feels very MASH. The version used in the TV series dropped the lyrics but kept the mood. That lonely trumpet over those slow-mo helicopters wasn't just a theme, it was a tone setter. You knew right away this wasn't your average sitcom. The show walked a fine line between absurd comedy and emotional gut punches, and the music made that balancing act feel seamless. Here's some bonus trivia for you. The original vocal version became a chart-topping hit in the UK in 1980 and landed at number 66 on AFI's list of 100 greatest movie songs. Not bad for a tune born out of one of the darkest jokes in Hollywood. Number 3, Maude, CBS.
Lady Godiva was a freedom rider. She didn't care if the whole world looked.
Now, do you want a theme song with personality? Well, this one kicked the door down in platform heels. Maude, an All in the Family spin-off, starred Bea Arthur as Maude Finley, an unapologetically liberal, opinionated, pantsuit-wearing powerhouse who spoke her mind and never backed down. The show ran on CBS from 1972 to 1978.
Joan of Arc with the Lord to guide her. She was a sister who really cooked.
The theme, And Then There's Maude, was written by Alan and Marilyn Bergman, with music by Dave Grusin, and delivered with gospel soul by Donny Hathaway.
And then there's Maude.
And then there's Maude.
And then there's Maude.
And then there's Maude.
The lyrics didn't just introduce a character. They built her a pedestal, a protest sign, and a soundtrack. It was so over the top, Family Guy even parodied how long it took to get to the actual title line, dragging it out with feminist icons until Peter Griffin finally snapped.
And then there's Maude, come on! But still found a way to keep herself looking fine. And then there's Maude. There we go.
Funky, fierce, and feminist, before that was a buzzword, the Maude theme dared you to keep up and let you know the lead wasn't here to be quiet or cute. It was part show opener, part revolution.
Compromising, enterprising, anything but tranquilizing. Right on, Maude.
Number 2, Barney Miller, ABC. Now, let's be real. This might be the coolest theme song ever written for a show about paperwork, precinct coffee, and passive-aggressive detectives. Airing on ABC from 1975 to 1982, Barney Miller starred Hal Linden as the calm, steady hand in a cramped New York City precinct full of quirky characters, like Harris, the sharp-dressed intellectual, Fish, the perpetually exhausted veteran, and Dietrich, who answered every question like he had a philosophy degree. The jazz fusion theme was written by Jack Elliott and Alan Ferguson, but that legendary opening bass line? Well, that was improvised by session musician Chuck Berghofer, who was asked to come up with something that sounded like a cop in New York. Mission accomplished. Backed by jazzy keys, tight drums, and that unforgettable groove, the music didn't just set the tone, it gave the show swagger. The theme evolved over the seasons and was ranked among the best TV theme songs of all time by both Paste and Complex. No surprise, it's been sampled, covered, and immortalized as the soundtrack to Paperwork done in style. Number 1, The Jeffersons, CBS.
Well, we're moving on up to the east side.
You know this one before the first note even finishes. The Jeffersons wasn't just a sitcom, it was a victory lap. Airing on CBS from 1975 to 1985 as a spin-off of All in the Family, the show followed George and Louise Jefferson, a successful couple who moved from Queens to Manhattan's Upper East Side. Sherman Hemsley and Isabel Sanford starred as the sharp-tongued, fast-talking pair, navigating their new life with style, sarcasm, and a memorable cast of neighbors.
To the east side. We finally got a piece of the pie.
The theme song? Gospel-Fueled Greatness. Co-written by Janae Dubois and Jeff Barry, and performed by Dubois herself with a powerhouse choir, Movin On Up was catchy, confident, and completely unforgettable. And here's the kicker. Dubois wrote it without even knowing what the show was really about. Norman Lear just said it was about a dry cleaner. Inspired by her own dream of giving her mom a better life, she wrote the lyrics. Lear heard it and immediately said, "That's the one."
Fish don't fry in the kitchen. Beans don't burn on the grill. Took a whole lot of trying just to get up that hill.
That line is the heart of the show. A mix of struggle, hustle, and triumph, all wrapped in a feel-good anthem that somehow still gives you goosebumps. Movin On Up didn't just set the tone, it owned it for 10 straight seasons.
We finally got a piece of the pie.
And there you have it, 25 of the greatest TV theme songs the 1970s ever gave us. Which one is stuck in your head right now? I gotta tell you, mine is Movin On Up. Let us know in the comments section, and don't be shy about dropping your own picks. If we missed your favorite, we might just cover it in the next countdown. And if you love this kind of retro content, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss what we've got coming up next. Until then, this is Remember When.